I am truly happy to see so many of you here. Most of you I see face to face first time in a while, so to say the least. And to open the conference, I will ask Talis Juhna, the Rector of Riga Technical University in Latvia, to give some opening words.
Good morning. Yeah, so first of all, I'm really happy to see this event here on our campus. And of course, it's our privilege to host this event because as a university which is having HPC center here at our facilities, we are very pleased to also learn from experience from other colleagues how to really explore and better use HPC facilities. And also very happy to see also some old friends from other HPC centers, from Estonia, for example. And we see this is a opportunity also for us to better link to the different project activities we are having here in Riga to activities in Europe. So I'd like to just mention that Riga Technical University has been putting a lot of efforts actually in developing HPC capabilities, both from the technical point of view. I have to say that our HPC center has been very popular, not among just scientists, but also the companies. They are using this for both creating the business and also for teaching the staff. And I believe that the network what we have at the European level also allowed to bring large-scale projects like the one, for example, in CERN. But also at the national level, we have been running several projects using HPC, for example, during the COVID epidemics. So I hope that this event will allow us to really find better cooperation also between different facilities and to address I think the future issues which are related to big data, which are related to artificial intelligence, of course, which is not possible without having large data facilities like here and elsewhere in Europe. So enjoy this day. You are here on the moon. You have also hopefully opportunity to see around both our HPC center, also our university. So we have a special place dedicated where we do different co-working activities, and this is one of the opportunities today. So enjoy your stay and welcome to RTU.
Thank you very much. Our next opener will be Janis from Ministry of Education and Science. Welcome.
Yes, thank you everyone. It is an honor to be today here at this conference on behalf of Ministry of Education and Science, so allow me also to say a couple of words. Latvia continues its integration into European research area and implements a wide range of digitization activities by engaging in international projects and synergy activities in other countries. Ministry evaluates possibilities to join Nordic-Baltic Region E-Infrastructure Consortium and EIC to enable better research cooperation in several fields of science, such as sensitive data and climate research. Latvian higher education institutions not only ensure knowledge transfer, development of new technologies and products, but also restore much needed human capital to sectors. As part of the digital transformation, the role of universities needs to change. Higher education institutions need to be strengthened as centers for knowledge creation, technology transfer, and innovation for smart growth, digital excellence hubs. This is very important for development of advanced digital skills, especially in the area of high-performance computing, where increase of the number of ICT specialists with HPC skills is important in order to boost HPC usage in a country. Here, I would like to highlight one specific project, development of high-level digital skills in Latvia in the field of HPC, that is implemented by Riga Technical University, University of Latvia, and Riga Strategic University, where these three research universities have developed 12 study modules in high-performance computing technologies, and these study models will be integrated into the study process and used to provide training to employees in the industry. Using them is expected to draw in-depth digital skills in HPC for 2,000 students and specialists from the business, academic, and public sectors by 2026. Looking at the future of technology, we are observing several trends that may create the next tech revolution. One of those trends is, of course, artificial intelligence. And Ministry supports the amendment to the EuroHPC regulation to establish artificial intelligence factories as a new pillar in the EU's supercomputing joint undertaking activities. This involves acquiring, upgrading, and operating supercomputers dedicated to artificial intelligence, enabling rapid machine learning and training of large general-purpose AI models. This initiative also aims to broaden AI usage by providing access to these dedicated supercomputers for a diverse range of public and private users, including startups and SMEs. Additionally, it offers a centralized hub for startups and innovators supporting the AI startup and research ecosystem by providing facilities for algorithm development, testing, evaluation, and validation of large-scale AI models, along with supercomputer-friendly programming facilities and other AI-enabling services. This sector is very important for Latvia because it is a part of our smart specialization strategy within the ICT priority. And the Ministry is implementing activities to strengthen the research capacity that would create not only educated and skilled graduates, but provide value for society as a whole. And it needs to be understood that proactive and active passage of the pace of technological development will depend not only on the success of our young people in achieving global peaks in this sector of the future, but also on our economic development and growth as a country. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Let's start the conference with the first keynote speaker, who will be the Executive Director of the European High Performance Computing Joint Undertaking, and there's Dam Jensen, who will tell us more about the situation in Europe with HPC and where are we going.
Where we're going may be a bit big, but hey. So first of all, thank you very much for the invitation. It's lovely to be here, and you arranged nice weather so far. And by the way, when you put in the address for this place, you get a nice walk down to the pier, at least according to Google. Lovely in sunshine, so that was great. Anyway, I am so happy to be here. I think it's important for the joint undertaking also to make the tour around all the members of EuroHPC along the way, and getting out to the Baltic countries has been high on my list, but it's not been possible until now. So I was delighted to receive the invitation, and I'm really happy to be here today. And what I wish to do, I looked at the agenda, and there's going to be a lot of good technical talks afterwards, which I'm going to be enjoying listening to. So I'm going to bore you more with what is EuroHPC actually. And the reason I want to do that is it's a really important institution, but it's also important to understand how we function and how we're governed in order for you to be able to influence it as much as possible. Oh, how do I change the... okay, magic happens, great. So, just very quickly, who are we? Well, we are actually... EuroHPC is an independent EU body. And what does that mean? It means we've been set up as an entity, an EU entity. We have our own budget, and I'll get back to that. We have what's called autonomy, which means we operate independently. So we have our own HR department, we have our own finance department, and so on. Now, of course, for some services, we very much rely on the Commission, but we are an independent body, and we are audited as an independent body. EuroHPC was actually created back in 2018. But the autonomy, the creation of us as this independent body was only as of September 2020. There were a number of steps that needed to go before that. But what is really exciting is EuroHPC was created out of the realization that there had been a chronic underinvestment in HPC and supercomputing in Europe for many years. And therefore, countries got together and said this needed a combined approach where we join forces, and that's what EuroHPC is all about. So countries could invest together in supercomputers. And of course, we have Lumi here presenting. I mean, they're the biggest example of this, where, what are we up to now? 11 participating states that's gone together to fund the 50%. And I'll get back to how that works. But anyway, that's exactly what EuroHPC was about. It was about pulling the resources together so that Europe could get the supercomputers that we earlier, if we look back a decade, we would have to look to the United States or Japan in order to have access to such machines. EuroHPC as an organization, we're based in Luxembourg. And at this point in time, we're 38 staff members. And I say that our regulation, as it stands, allows us to hire up to 52. So there's a delta. And so if anyone thinks that what you're going to see is cool, then keep an eye on our website. We will continue to hire in the course of this year. I don't know what I did before. But hey, things happen. So again, our mission is a little combined. It is, first of all, we've been put on this earth to develop a world-leading supercomputing infrastructure for Europe. And I think this is what you see in the likes of Lumi, Leonardo, but also Melaxina and the other machines. We have been able to, through the co-funding, we've been able to get some machines now that really sits high on the list and is the latest technology. But we're not stopping there. We'll talk about the fact that we've had quantum computing added as well, and we are well on the way in delivering quantum computers for the European community. And then we're going to start. There's a project right now ongoing where we're going to look at federating, so making access to the machines easier and more homogeneous across Europe. But that's the infrastructure. Then the next thing that when I said the realization of a chronic underinvestment for decades, well, it's also on the research and innovation side. We used to in Europe be a lot further along when it comes to just IT. And here I'm not talking about running the IT, I'm talking about manufacturing it. But over years, I mean, if I look back at when I was at university, every single country had their own IT provider. In Denmark, we had 2, and they were manufacturing. And all of that went away. This is something that we've also have in our raison d'être, is to try and get Europe back on the map in producing components for supercomputers, along with the whole software stack and so on. And this is here we're investing into a number of research and innovation programs in order to help that, and we'll talk more about that. And then, of course, last but not least, what's the point of doing all of this if no one knows how to use it? So quite a lot of investment is also going into projects in and around training, skills and education. And of course, EuroCC and everything around that is a pillar in that. This investment into Europe about we all need to understand what can be achieved by using supercomputers for problems and how to do it properly. So at this point in time, we're 34 participating states. Personally, I find that really exciting. So we're not just talking about the normal member states of the Union. We actually have a number of countries outside of the European Union that has said, this is cool, we want to be part of this. So at this point in time, we're at 34 members. We actually have a couple of more that's knocking on our door at the moment. So it will be really interesting to see what the number will be at the end of the year. But then, of course, we have the European Union, who's providing half of the funding, and then we have 3 private members at this point in time. And basically, these are the members of EuroHPC. They are the ones that sits in our governing board. So if you add this up, basic math, at this point in time, I have 38 bosses. And some even sends multiple representatives, so it can get really interesting. Now, all in all, that's our governing board that meets, and the governing board's job, of course, is to set to agree the work program and where we're going. So, and I'm saying that because basically this is again back to, so you all understand. You can say, you'll see a slide showing that I have 7 billion euros. Yeah, unfortunately, Anders doesn't get to choose where 7 billion euros is spent. There's a governing board that takes care of that and decides how that gets done. But to help them, we have 2 advisory groups. We have the Infrastructure Advisory Group and the Research and Innovation Advisory Group. And those 2 groups are responsible for providing advice to the JU, and by that to the governing board on, and it's in the name, where should we go on the infrastructure side and where should we go on research and innovation. And they do that by providing updates to what we call the MASP, the Multi-Annual Strategic Plan. So the Multi-Annual Strategic Plan, which you will also be able to find up on our website, is the long-term view of what EuroHPC should be doing. And it's a living document. We update it every year. So the RIAG and the INFRAG provides amendments. We've just been through a phase where they presented their amendments to the governing board. They were agreed, and we are about to publish the updated MASP for now. And the new RIAG and INFRAG were elected. They will now start working on, and the gentleman from the ministry already alluded to artificial intelligence. There's no question that when that gets to be within the remit of the joint undertaking, the RIAG and INFRAG will then be updating and adding things in and around what that means for what we should be doing. I think it worked that way. Okay. I'm getting good at this, too good. Anyway, so as per our regulation, and this is the regulation as it stands right now, this is the funding that has been set aside for EuroHPC. So we have 2 billion euros out of the Digital Europe program. We have almost 1 billion, 900 million out of Horizon Europe. And then we have 200 million out of what's called Connected Europe facilities. Now, if you add all of that up, you do not get to 7 billion. The way we get to 7 billion is because we're a joint undertaking. And what does that mean? It means that we do everything jointly. Rule of thumb, every time I spend €1, someone else has to spend €1. So, and this is best illustrated with our machines. So Lumi, a number of countries got together, funded half of the machine, and the JU is then funding the other half of that machine. And this is also back to then, I don't get to choose everything that we do with all of this money. I don't actually get to choose much. But neither, at the end of the day, our RIAG and INFRAG, they will have good advice on what we should be doing. But the final say will be that the governing board, we need to have countries that are willing to support the other side. So this is sometimes where you can say good ideas, yes, but we also need to make sure that we can do it jointly with participating states. So this is where this is one of the interesting aspects of the job in the joint undertaking. Connecting facilities is a special case where this is money that will not likely require co-funding. We're looking to federate the machines. We're looking to more to provide a uniform access and also to upgrade the connectivity between the machines. Those are projects that's in the early works and more to come on that. There we go. So I think you know this, so I'm going to run through it quickly. And by the way, there are more slides in here than I intend to spend a lot of time on. This is so you have a slide deck afterwards as well. But anyway, these are the machines that are currently out there. And I'm not going to go through each of them. You're going to, but just highlight, of course, that the next system. Well, I will highlight also that we will start accepting users on Decalion. We've had a bit of time of getting it stabilized, but as of 1st of May, we will start also having users onto Decalion, and I hope Mare Nostrum will also open in a similar time frame that we're currently discussing with the vendor. Jupiter, of course, is the next big thing. It's the exascale machine that we're building in Jülich, in Germany. And then we are discussing a machine in Greece as well. This will be a mid-range machine. We've just had agreement with the governing board to upgrade the budget since Greece, on their side, wished to spend more money. Then we are, of course, happy to then match that in order that we all get a bigger machine. So again, I think you know this, but one of the things that's really exciting here is that we've managed to have machines that truly are new to Europe. I mean, it's been a long time since Europe has been so well represented on the top 500 list. And I'll give you a little anecdote. Of course, this is the latest list, but it was even more impressive when we listed Lumia and Leonardo for the first time, number 3 and number 4 in the world. Basically, given the mission to put us back up there, each year I have the pleasure to go in front of the European Parliament to explain how we've used their money, and basically it gave me great pleasure to put up one slide that basically said, now we own number 3 and number 4 in the world. And I don't know if you know this, but I'm not alone in being a joint undertaking. In total, we are 10 joint undertakings. We go to these sessions together. We each do our presentation. My colleagues from the other joint undertaking just went, "You bastard." So we spoke about Jupiter briefly, but this is really going to be a machine that's going to set us apart. It will be an exascale machine, be based on the Grace Hopper architecture from NVIDIA. It will be the largest in the world of such architecture. And it should be noted that at this point in time, the other exascale machines on the top 500 are Intel and AMD based. So this will be an NVIDIA exascale machine. Now, that's for the exascale part, but what I'm really excited about is the fact that we managed to get the first European processor into Jupiter. So as I'm sure many of you are aware, we've had a project, we've funded the European Processor Initiative, and it has delivered a European processor. At this point in time, our European processor is based on the ARM architecture, and they've been working on this for quite a while. And we've managed to agree with the manufacturer that there will be a cluster partition, that will be based on this processor. This processor is not just European, but it also has some unique features with some very high bandwidth memory. And you can say one thing is choosing it because it's European, but the actual important thing is we're choosing it because it has this unique characteristic of very high bandwidth, which we believe will be very valuable to certain applications. Then quantum. I mean, when the regulation was amended, well, actually that's not true. It wasn't that it was amended. It was the next regulation. It was the one that we got for 2021. Quantum was given to the JU as well. Basically, we were asked to do for quantum what we'd done for HPC, bring an infrastructure to Europe. And it's important for me to say we've only been given the infrastructure. The fundamental research in quantum so on remains in what's known as the quantum flagship within the Commission. But we were asked to go out and buy a number of quantum machines and make them available to users across Europe. So we can all learn what it actually means to do quantum. And what we've done is we've set out to procure, and I should actually have updated this slide because at this point in time there's 4 of them where the procurement is running, and we're just about to close, and we have 2 more in the pipeline. So all in all, we will have at this point in time 6 quantum computers that will be installed across Europe. Each of them will be connected to an HPC machine. So what is important for our mission is that we believe that the success of quantum is in collaboration with an HPC machine. Quantum promises to be very good at things that the classical computer is very bad at, and I would almost say vice versa. But I'm sure there are some quantum people that will correct me on that last statement. But definitely, it promises to be very good at things that the classical computer is not well suited for, and therefore a close interconnection between quantum and HPC, we firmly believe, is the way to go. So each of these quantum computers will be connected to a EuroHPC system, to an HPC system, and there's a project that will look to interconnect them. Now, the other thing that I find really exciting about our 6 quantum computers is the fact, and this is a deliberate choice, we made sure we chose 6 different technologies. What we wish to do is, I think we can all agree, quantum is really interesting, but no one knows exactly, I don't think anyone knows exactly which technology will prevail. More importantly, maybe some technology will be better suited for some applications, some technologies for others. What we're looking to have is as many technologies present in our infrastructure as possible, so that the researchers can, hate to say it, play with each of them, work with each of them, get to know each of them, and we can all get wiser on what each of them are good for. So that's really exciting. I can also tell you that we launched another call for expression of interest that has just closed for additional quantum computers, and again we're focusing on additional technologies. I cannot say more, but we did get new exciting proposals, and we are now going to start evaluating those. So I'm not going to rule out that you're going to see this number grow. But we have been doing quantum in another project, HPC CoEs, and there we have 2 Pascal quantum computers, which unfortunately have been a little delayed. They should have been available at this point in time, but we're watching it closely and hoping to. They will also be made available to the user community. And then maybe also just to point out, we will be establishing centers of excellence for quantum excellence centers. This is proposals have come in, and this is something to be evaluated, and you'll be hearing more about that soon. So, all of these computers that we now have, basically, again, we're back to we fund them jointly, and so for the likes of Lumia and Leonardo, we're funding 50% of the cost. The consortium on the other side funds the other 50%. That also means we share the access. So 50% of the access is owned by the consortium. So the countries behind Lumia, if we pick on that one as an example, and it is none of my business what they do with that 50%. The other 50% is owned by the JU, and we run a peer review process where any researcher in Europe that lives up to the eligibility criteria, which mainly are focused around, since these machines were funded by Horizon 2020, the rules, rule of thumb, if you could apply for a Horizon 2020 grant for something, you can apply for access time. And we've set up a peer review process, which should be very familiar to many of you, because we have had great help from Praise in setting this up, to the extent that you will even see today that we're using some appraised tools behind the scenes in order to make this as painless as possible for the people accessing things. The peer review team that's doing the peer review is part of the JU. It is the major thing we do. And then we rely on an expert network that will do the actual peer review behind the scenes in order to grant you access. And you will find regular calls and information up on our website on how to do this. I can only encourage you to do it. It is not difficult, and more importantly, it is truly open equally across the board. So just because you don't have a EuroHPC machine right now in Latvia does not mean you do not have access. On the contrary, you have equal access with everyone else on every single EuroHPC system. So please put in the applications and use them. So far, these are just the stats of what we've awarded, and basically these were so basically on what we call regular access, which is probably what you would start. Well, you would start by putting in for development access to get to know the machine, and that's really easy. Just let me make that point as well. There's no peer review involved. All we do is a technical check that what you wish to use the machine for makes sense, and you kind of know what you're doing, and that's it. Then you get access to limited set of resources to prove your application works. And based on that, you can then put in for regular access. And if you really get to be one of the big boys, one of the big users, and these are usually the really heavy hitters, then we have the extreme scale calls that gives very large amounts of resources for a longer time. One of those that is using quite a bit of our resources is Destination Earth. Destination Earth has been agreed by the governing board to be a strategic initiative, and therefore they actually fall under a special category where we are giving them special access, so they don't need to go through peer review process every time. This is they're 10% of the JU capacity that, as per the regulation, the governing board can choose to allocate to strategic initiatives, and Destination Earth is one of them. Basically, what is the other? Well, we have a competition coming up on AI, which the governing board agreed that so this is known as the AI Grand Challenge, and that the winners of that will be allocated time to run their models on EuroHPC systems. So those are the two special access allocations that we have at the moment. And then we mentioned AI. I need to make it very, very clear. There's no question that there will be an update to our regulation, but that is between member states and the Commission. And as much as I would love to discuss it, I'm not at liberty, but I'm sure there are people in this room that knows more about it than I do, from the point of view that this is truly, the way this works is the Commission has put forward a proposal to member states, and the process we're in now is the Commission is having dialogues with member states to agree the final text. Once the final text comes, then it will be my new regulation, and then it's my job, or the JU's job, to implement it. But it is not the JU that writes or influences what's going to be in there. All I can say personally is I find it really exciting. I think it's going to be really interesting. But again, I'll leave it at that because it really, how the final text ends up is between member states and the Commission. However, we have already done quite a bit of AI. Even if AI was not in our title, we have done quite a bit of AI already. There's been a number of projects that run. We've also set up support centers for AI. So that was a call we had out last year in order to specifically start helping AI users how to use supercomputers. And then you can say the continuation of what was known as Fortissimo, we set up a special track for SMEs that wish to use the machines for AI. I think collectively we have a challenge which is that we have a user community in the AI users that clearly needs access to the horsepower. We need to make sure they understand how to use these machines in the best possible way. And I think this is exactly what you guys are also doing. There's a great training element where we're dealing, at least in some cases, with users that have been able to pack as many GPUs as they had PCIe lanes in their PC, in their workstation, and they now need to scale out to multiple nodes. And we all know that's just hard. Going from one node to multiple nodes is just hard. And this is what we all need to help them with. You'll see there the potential future AI. This is what's in the text that has been proposed by the Commission. What the Commission proposes is that the JU, as also the gentleman from the ministry alluded to, that we will be allowed to buy supercomputers that are catering for AI. What does this mean in practice? In practice, it means that I would hope it means, no, it means it's not going to be impact focused. We're going to focus on something that makes sense for AI. And I'll leave it at that because that's exactly, the make sense is what still we need to be told what that is. And then on the research and innovation, at this point in time, we have 40 projects that's running. And the point I just want to make here is we try to invest in what we call the full stack. We start at the bottom with hardware. We have quite a few projects that's looking into getting hardware back into Europe. The crown jewel at the moment is the EPI project, which has resulted in a processor that we're now putting in Jupiter. This is fantastic. I think I don't need to tell anyone, it was a bumpy road. You know, it takes time to do hardware, but we got there. And for me, it's just fantastic that we're able to do this. But we're not stopping there. We launched and we've closed a call for a European interconnect. So we wish to fund basically the development of an interconnect. This is, of course, a continuation of work that's already been done. But our hope is to get to a product that we can also use in future supercomputers as the interconnect and backbone of supercomputers. And then, of course, on the processor side, I think you're all aware, we're continuing. We're now looking to do a next set of processors, but based on RISC-V instruction architecture. And then moving up, we have the projects that are looking at the system software, application software, and then last but not least, the users. The users are extremely important, and this is where we're funding things like EuroHPC, like the master's program, and so on. And I think you'll see more as we move forward in order to try and broaden the awareness and the use of HPC. We'll skip over that. So anyway, I mean, what's going to keep us busy in the future is basically we've already agreed we're going to buy the next exascale machine. So Jules Verne, well, the consortium is called Jules Verne. I can tell you now the machine will not be called Jules Verne, but I can't tell you what it will be called. But at the end of the day, this is the second exascale. It will be hosted in France. And what is really exciting about that is that we want to take the European technology footprint to the next level. What exactly that's going to mean, we don't know yet. We're discussing with the vendors because it's all about what's possible, what's not possible. But you can say Jupiter set the bar, and the aim is definitely for Jules Verne to take it to the next level. And then we've also had a call out for industrial machine. So we wish to see to get a consortium that would host EuroHPC's first industrial machine. And what we mean by industrial machine is a machine that caters for industrial users. And by that, on security, on the whole setup, and so on. And as I said, we opened and closed a call for new quantum machines. And if any of you have, you can say, questions where you want to discuss any of these projects in further details, to the extent that I'm able to. I must admit, I'm not well versed on every single project, but I will be around. My plan is, my flight is not until tomorrow afternoon, so don't be a stranger. I'm happy to discuss these things. And with that, again, I want to thank you very much for the invitation, and I'm really happy to be here, and I'm going to look forward to the rest of the conference. Thank you for your attention.
Here I come. Thank you very much for the presentation. Let's see, what do we have next? So next on our program is a governmental overview on supporting the use of HPC. And I welcome our moderator for the session, Valdis Avotiņš from Latvia.
Yeah, thank you. Already the previous speaker showed that European Commission has stated that investment in HPC area is one of the priority area of investments. We saw a number of applications, and in the same time we're meeting a number of challenges. We cannot anymore use the same techniques or methods or policies what we are using today to solve tomorrow's challenges and technical problems. We see a number of changes in industry, in universities. I'm already working, for example, with Model 5.0 for university strategies. And also, we expect also certain changes in the government policies, government policy measures. And this is all about how to meet the tomorrow's challenges, how to create efficient innovation ecosystem where the HPC segment is playing an important role. And today we are organizing this governmental session just to see in 4 countries what is today's situation, what might be the further steps and changes. And of course, we have very short time to cover all issues, but I think that we will get some photography, some snapshot, and rise up the important questions we can then follow and discuss further in formal atmosphere as well, or in the next meetings. As the first presenter, I would like to ask Dr. Malin Sandström from Swedish Research Council to maybe share some experience about the Swedish situation and Swedish governmental policy. Please.
Hello, everyone. I'm Malin Sandström from the Swedish Research Council, and I am responsible for e-infrastructure questions, and mostly at this point HPC. And I've only been in this field for a year and a half, so I still feel as a beginner. And I'm very glad to be here to meet you and get your perspective, because as an infrastructure funder, you're usually far removed from the users. And you see, I've put Linköping here on this slide because I couldn't fit it on the next slide. And Linköping is going to feature quite prominently, since there's where our new center for supercomputing is placed. So HPC in Sweden in one slide. It's a very crowded slide because there's very much to say. So we are, since the beginning of last year, we have a new national infrastructure for supercomputing that's called NICE. And they are based in Linköping, and they are going to work as a national hub for all HPC in Sweden. And I can say that historically we've been regional. We've had 6 strong regional hubs for HPC that were in an umbrella organization, but now we're moving to a more consolidated national organization. We also are a part of the LUMI consortium, and we have a 3.4%, which might not sound as much, but as you saw on the other slides, that's quite a chunk of computing power. And now we also have or we have plans for a new mid-range supercomputer called Arrhenius that's going to be built in Linköping. And all the other logos you see on the slide are representative of the Swedish HPC and AI ecosystem to some point. So we have 5 centers of excellence with Swedish members involved, and 3 of them are coordinated also by Swedes. And we have big public super users of HPC, like the Royal Library and SMHI, which is doing meteorology, weather calculations and so. And we have a Swedish innovation agency, that's a governmental innovation agency. And we have several strong non-governmental actors like RISE, who are here today, and AI Sweden, and Wallenberg Autonomous Systems and Software Programs, WASP. And I was asked to talk about a bit more about Arrhenius, so I will. And the reason why we want Arrhenius is that we feel that the consolidated national system and the coordination between the national and system and EuroHPC is the most strategic way to give the Swedish community the HPC resources it needs. And the vision of Arrhenius will be 35% EuroHPC JU and 65% Sweden. And then 20% of those, our Swedish portion, will go to the use of industry and the public sector. And I think that's 13% of the computer in total, if I calculated it correctly. And this will, of course, be paired with a significant investment in user support for basically everybody, the industry, public sector, academia. And one of the big needs that Arrhenius will fill that is the HPC for sensitive data, basically, because we have one location in Sweden which is rapidly aging out, and Arrhenius is our sort of saving hope for that. And in the process of getting Arrhenius, we had to make arguments to the Swedish government why they should fund Arrhenius and why they should fund it now. So we had to write a report, basically, everybody who's involved, from RISE, from Vinnova, from lots of other places, ENCCS also. We had to write a report explaining to the government why this was timely, why this was strategic. And I've picked out the arguments we made and sorted them into 2 categories, because there were national synergies and national priorities, but also progress-related arguments. So basically we said that we have a strong community, they are better than we have funding for, so we need to give them more resources. And that there's an unmet need in the public sector and industry, that the non-academic users, that they need better access, especially for sensitive data, because when you get a lot of public sector into HPC, you get a lot of sensitive data coming with them. We also see synergies with the life science strategy, the national life science strategy that we have, and because they generate a lot of data that need HPC. And we also think that this will enable Swedish companies and public sector and industry to do something that when data needs to stay in Sweden for several different reasons. It might be private, it might be otherwise sensitive. Then we can do these calculations in Sweden, don't have to move it somewhere else on somebody else's servers. Also, of course, the progress-related arguments where there's a data explosion and there's lots of data and it's going to be open, it's going to be openly accessible, and we need the resources to do computations with that data. And that we need better access to large-scale analysis for data. And that especially when we also have machine learning, you can analyze lots of things that you couldn't analyze before, basically, which also increases the need for HPC. And also the green transition will need much modeling and simulations and planning and testing different scenarios. I'm also going to spend a few minutes on the Swedish co-funding process, which is quite complicated, and I'm interested to see if you have different processes in your different countries. So basically, we have a multi-year budget HPC planning, and we know basically from year to year how much money is going to be set aside. And we do have a significant investment in Lumi. That's about 1/3 of our accessible budget each year. We also have a number of funds tied up in already projects that are running, and it's going to need funds for next year and next year. And we do have a few million Swedish kronors free each year. So what we do is that we have a national reference group that's broadly representative of Sweden, and we ask them, what in the work program for this coming year would you think is the most prioritized for Sweden? Where should we aim for co-funding? And they give us basically a ranked list. And then we divide those X million Swedish crowns, and then we say these are reserved for these projects, and then we hope that somebody applies for them and that they are successful. And when we do our co-funding process, you need to have a signed grant agreement, which means that basically you're fairly far along in the process already. And the EuroHPC ranking of the project decides if 2 projects come to us and ask for co-funding and we can't fund both of them, the one that's higher ranked will have the funds. Because we think we don't have the resources to do a better job than the EuroHPC reviewers do. And the problem with this process is that it's a fairly long-winded. I mean, the multi-year planning is done several years ahead, and planning for a work program that's not as sort of static as you would like to have it if you're going to plan for a year, because the work program changes a number of times each year, and at some point in the year we need to say stop and prioritize. And that's always challenging to find what is a good time point for that. And this is basically my alibi. When I go to a EuroHPC JP meeting and say, Sweden wants this, or this is a priority for Sweden because these are the people that I rely on. And we spend a lot of time recruiting for this group to make sure that it's broadly representative of Sweden. There's experience in all these different areas where we have users and interests. And also we try our best to get it as gender balanced as possible, because in the Swedish Research Council, each reference group is supposed to be 60-40 if you can get there. And we nearly got there this time. I think it's 39 something. And also this year, we also did an extra recruitment round for people well versed in AI, because we realized that we are going to need more and better representation of the Swedish AI community in this group. So I wanted to spend my last slide talking about some challenges in funding HPC. And this is going to be from the perspective of we're a funder of basic science and infrastructure. So basically not applied science so much. And as I said, funding cycles are slow, but HPC is a quickly changing field. And when AI got into the picture, it didn't get much easier. So the best option for Sweden, it might change, I mean, definitely over several years, but also within a year. And how do you plan for that? It's hard. Also, HPC is not purely a national effort, and you have to tie into the different strategies on the EU level and on your neighboring countries' level. And this means that the international cooperation is, you need to have a strong national HPC organization to work for you in all these international engagements. But also that means if your nation is sort of fragmented and you have HPC centers in several different places, as we do, and I think some of you also do, having that strong unified voice and then carrying it out into these international collaborations is hard. Also, if it wasn't already hard to plan, global conflicts and hardware shortages will surely delay whatever you planned. And now that we're bringing HPC to many new user communities, besides paying for the hardware, we also need to have support, we need to have software development, we need to have user support for all the new users, because otherwise we just have an expensive lump of metal. And especially annoying for me is that software development and software developers are really strategic if we put money into HPC and we don't fund software and software developers well, it's going to be money not so well spent. But we don't have any national strategies or career paths or merit systems that are really well adapted to software development. Also, and we see a very competition for skilled staff and skilled students. So are there any really quick questions?
Thank you indeed. My suggestion would be that we leave questions to the panel discussion. And now let's follow with the next presenter, Sarmite Mickevica, Senior Expert in Digitalization, Ministry of Education and Science in Latvia. And then we will have quick presentation from Estonia and Lithuania, and then we will start our panel discussion. Yeah, please.
Hello. Yes, thank you, Valdis, for a short introduction. So I will give a very brief overview of our priorities from a governmental side for HPC in Latvia. So first of all, what is our main priority is basically to build a critical mass of users, and also for high performance computing, and also for supporting digital technologies like language technologies and quantum computing. And the thing what we do here, we are investing from recovery and resilience funding 70.6 million in development of specialists with advanced digital skills. And specifically for high performance computing, we target to have 2,000 new specialists by mid of 2026, and high performance computing area is getting investment of 6.2 million. So in that short time period. Currently, we already have good results, and Riga Technical University is coordinating all this effort together with University of Latvia and Riga Stradiņš University. And there has been already 12 study modules, let's say, approved and are out in the auditoriums for students and also for approbation and for industry. So we are, so this is a very good progress. And also in the same amount of investment is put into language technologies, which is which will be one of the drivers for also for artificial intelligence applications. And so we will have a lot of specialists there who will create demand for high performance computing. And the same amount for quantum technologies, where the expectations is to have like 180 specialists, but the more focus they have is on scientific publications, where the target is to have like 45 scientific publications, which is very ambitious number. So this is one really major investment and really investment in users and skills. The second key pillar is actually the projects and access to HPC machines and also EuroHPC. National Competence Center project is the thing what we support, and it started in 2020, but right now we see this very beautiful conference and very lot of people here, where this work continues, and we see that we create more and more connections, and this progress is happening here. But at the same time, what we see a really lack of requests and our like Latvian participation in the projects, in project calls, and the access policy calls, and actually in actual project calls. So we would like to see more. And if you would ask about this co-funding scheme, so if there is signed already, like if the project has got this financing from EuroHPC, GU, and approved for financing, then you can request co-financing from the government in the procedure as the same as for other Horizon Europe and Digital Europe projects. So so that scheme is open to everybody. And and the last point actually is the infrastructure. Our local infrastructure, our Latvian academic network, is in close connection, let's say, connects our national high-performance computing center, which is based here in Riga Technical University. On average annually, it's 1.5 million euro investment per year to keep up and running this infrastructure. Right now we are in progress to redesign and to develop new approach and strategy for this whole network. And here we are also planning for ministry to review this possibilities of high-performance computing center improvements and also connections to other EuroHPC computers, possibly entering some consortium. So that's actually very briefly from ministry. So, and I can stop here. Thank you.
Thank you indeed, and as I already said, we expect that there will be an opportunity to ask also questions in the panel discussion. I would like to ask the next presenter, Dr. Ivar Koppel, Head of HPC Computing Center at University of Tartu, please to share the roadmap of maybe situation in Estonia, please.
Okay. Hello everybody. So I'm actually not the government representative, but I'm trying to hack it from user's perspective. So in Estonia we have a consortia called Talis, which is Estonian Scientific Compute Infrastructure, and it's a consortia of 3 big universities and includes, I think, 99% of Estonian HPC capacity. And it's have been on the roadmap already for 15 years. And I can more talk about last, let's say, 8 years. It has been a policy of Estonian government that HPC has to be coordinated. So if you give each guy 100K and expect something positive to happen, so it's not going to be happen. Because HPC takes skills to develop and it has extremely big mass effect. So handling 1 computer or 1,000 computers, if you do it correctly, it takes about the same amount of manpower. And it used to be that the Talis was applying for money on equal basis to all roadmaps. It's basically meant that it covered less than 5% of the costs, and everything else was supplied by universities and users and etc. And from calls, various calls. How does it work? Presently, since the establishment of EuroHPC GU, Estonia decided to join. It was a parliament level decision. And since then, HPC has received de facto preferential treatment. So the government covered the self-financing for competence centers, also decided to participate in LUMI. And cooperation is been the, I think, the deciding factor of what Estonian HPC is today. Because I started, let's say, 6 years ago. I had actually 2 employees. Okay, after a few months, I got 4 employees, and we went to CSC to see how one normal HPC center is supposed to work. So CSC was at that time with, I think, 300 employees and budget of several, I think, 100 millions. And after that, we started working. So we joined NICA. Then we started, we got invited to Lumi because we already know how to do something. It turned out we were quite good at federating systems. So, and with cooperation, so you gain more skills, you have some motivation to give to people, so they can be part of something important. So. And it's actually very rewarding if you are in a room full of people who are speaking that they are actually gonna be make a world best AI supercomputer. Okay, and you believe it, so you really believe that you can make it. Okay, but yes, you know, HPC has mostly based on motivation and a lot of projects. So the government decided that we need some stability also. So since last year, now we are getting 0.6 million for supporting HPC, and our total budget for Talis currently is 4.5 million, and we have about 60 persons. So it's quite a lot more than the 2 persons we started. Okay, and yeah, as I already told, we are very much involved in Lumi activities. And we are also de facto tool for all government needs. So it's not only Ministry of Research and Science, but also Ministry of Economy and public users. And okay, so last slide will be, okay, so why should government support something? Okay, there is some need, of course, you have public policy. You need HPC, but you need to give the money to somebody. And first you have to establish some level of trust. It means that the organization you give the money to, they will do something useful with it. They will deliver and deliver good results, not some embarrassment. So like data leak or yeah. And to be useful, I think e-infras need to be a bit preemptive. So we bought the GPUs before they became popular. We at least try to have some connectivity to AI quantum. So there are actually no real quantum users in Estonia today, I would say. We have some theoretical quantum guys and we have some quantum connection guy, but our quantum theorists are too theoretical, so I asked, do you want to access a real quantum computer? Maybe sometimes, it would be interesting. But still, we need to make sure we are connected. And we need to predict storage capabilities and the needs. So this year we are trying to create a secure cluster for secure data, which is now everybody wants to do research in medicine and personal data and stuff. And yeah, so about people, yeah, so with the help from few good key people, you can grow the rest. And the rest is also cooperation usually doesn't make the good guys dumb, but the dumb guys learn something. Okay, so that's it from me. So I was told I have to keep it short. And
thank you very much. Thank you, really. And I would like to ask then the next presenter, Professor Povilas Treigys, board member of Quantum Lithuania. Yeah, please, the floor is yours. Also for a short presentation, please.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. So I was introduced already. I'm Povilas Treigys, and I will talk about the perspective that we have from the totally from the academia side, because Lithuanian HPC infrastructure somehow resulted in the university of the Vilnius University. So one slide for the alma mater. So Vilnius University is the first and largest comprehensive university of Lithuania. It was established in 1579 and is basically research university among top and lists in the among the 473 in the QS rating of 2023. So Vilnius University budget is about 140 million euros. So, as I said before, the HPC infrastructure is situated in the Vilnius University, and this infrastructure is logically divided into two parts, so that are interconnected and upon need and can be combined via InfiniBand connection. So, one part is mainly addressed to general purpose computational chemistry and quantum chemistry task solving. Another part is about the AI, natural language processing, deep learning, and mathematical modeling. So there are some figures what the infrastructure is, but the main thing is that here at the Faculty of Mathematics we have 0.12 petaflops of the double precision and about 4 petaflops of deep learning capacity, and for the Faculty of Physics we have more than 12,000 CPU cores, which results in 0.24 petaflops of double precision computing power, and a bit less on the homogeneous HPC hardware part. So this is the infrastructure. Of course, we collaborate with such enterprises as Novian, Atos, and so on. So what are the HPC-related activities? So here I try to gather all the activities that somehow helps Vilnius University to co-fund the HPC infrastructure. So we are very thankful for being member of the EuroHPC. Then the Research Council funds the participation in the AGI infrastructure. Of course, Vilnius University is a national competence center of the EuroHPC program, and here on the second call we have made a consortium of all the Lithuanian universities. That I think is a way better than to participate in such organization or such funding by only the Vilnius University. Of course, European Digital Innovation Hub program allows us to partially co-fund the activities of the HPC. We're very thankful for the Excellence Research Council of the Lithuania for the University's Excellence Initiative, what Lithuania government gave at about 16 million euros to invest in the various project at Vilnius University. And finally, Vilnius University thinks that bringing quantum to Lithuania is a must. So Vilnius University, together with such companies like Novian and Physical Technology Center, created the Quantum Association. But as you can see, basically what I'm listing here, so all these things are project-based. So this is a big problem, as we do not have a clear national program for the funding of the HPC resources, and the whole infrastructure is funded not only by the Vilnius University, but to be precise, by the faculties of Vilnius University. It's the Faculty of Mathematics and Informatics and Faculty of Physics. Nevertheless, we are the part of the Dugain and LitNet networks that allows us other academia members just bring as is to our infrastructure. As well, I saw here other partners from Estonia that developed the Baldur for the ability to provide access to our infrastructure from the business or other entities. Of course, we are Red Hat members of the Red Hat Academia, MATLAB. Last year, we signed the bilateral agreement with the Poznan Supercomputing and Networking Center for the quantum technology development in Lithuania. And of course, Vilnius University is associated partner of CERN. So why academia should be the part of the HPC? So none of the business or other entities can offer such a diverse scientific community that is enabled for very complex problem solving. This is one. The second is that university can offer science-based proof of concept development. Of course, as we are universities, we are very glad to have an open science and open data policy. And what we do have here, for example, at Vilnius University, so we have resources at hand for the HPC, AI, quantum, and other competences development. So this is the good part, and this is the bad part. Okay, so not so bad part, but the ideas that this path no longer allow us to constantly be together with the technology. So if we talk about academic institutions, so without partial national support, we are encountering very large challenges providing comprehensive infrastructure as a service stack. I mean that the human resource capacity for the HPC initiatives at universities is limited, as the universities depend on the project calls. No project, no ability to fund the person who will allow or help to develop that project. Another big issue is balancing maintenance cost and computing power becomes crucial, impacting the ability to participate in national and international large-scale project calls. So this is another big issue, but because we can, as we can see now, we are a bit too small in Lithuania to participate in such a call. So not for all projects we are interested as the provider for the HPC. Then what is a bit lacking from the point of the academia, that a long-term well-planned strategy is crucial to keep hardware updated, because we updated our hardware a few years ago, and now we are looking very actively looking forward how we could launch the public procurement for the next hardware updates. And of course, if we have no well-defined national strategy, we hardly can adopt new technologies such as a quantum. This is a problem. And another drawback, especially in Lithuania or maybe in other small countries, is that insufficient orchestration of the I don't know, at the national level of the governmental bodies results in hardware resources being allocated across different institutions, because different institutions tries to get some part of the computational power, And that leads to quite scarce resource because none of the institution can have enough power or enough money to run the hardware. And more, what is important that that it varies per institution the regulations applied for the resource sharing. So this is the short introduction from the point of view of Vilnius University and especially from the academia side. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you indeed. Now I would like to ask if there is any assistance to rearrange maybe the chairs for the panel. And I would like to ask also all panelists. Chairs are coming. Okay, let's put. Yeah. Yeah, please take the seats. And I would like to ask also to join Dr. Janis Grēviņš, CEO at Higher Education and Research IT Shared Service Center, Latvia. Please take your seats. Let's start with, I would say, 2-in-1 question for all panelists. We saw that we all are looking to exploit as best as possible the resources we have. I mean, infrastructure, hardware, personal, users, community. And still, I think if we are looking, we are performing quite well, but still some countries are doing better and some are not so good. How would you say why it's so, and what might be the some maybe 2 suggestions or to which factors or which policy measures we have to focus maybe to make things better? Please, we may start maybe with Malin. Yeah.
So I think the original question you sent to us by email was what was the reasons for effective use of HPC in the country or not. And I guess different parts of the country would define the effective use of something different, but let us choose a simple how much are people using the resources we spend money on. And I think there's, you need this network of users and institutions, and they all need to be functioning and interconnected. And I think in some countries that works well already, in some countries it doesn't, for partly historical reasons.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, I think the main function of HPC is that the scientists need to have all the tools they need to do something, and in that reason I think Estonia is currently quite okay. So nothing worth doing is not being done because we don't have enough resources.
Okay, I totally agree to the Malin that said that during the presentation that if you have a few national centers in the country, this is quite difficult to talk in one voice. So as I see, for example, for Lithuania, so Lithuania is too small to have, I think, too small to have one HPC resource for the university. I suppose that these resources should be based on consortium available to the broader region of Lithuania, not to put only to the university. This is the one. Because then we can talk maybe with the EuroHPC GU and so on for the resource, the new one on the national level. So this is the issue. The second thing is some partial funding should be present to ensure the capacity, to the capacity not to be project only dependent. I mean for the human resource having and for the task solving and so on. So.
Thank you. Please, Sarmite.
Yes, thank you, Valdis. Actually, let's say answering to the question, why it's working maybe in some countries, in others less. It's really, let's say, first of all, it's we need to define, and the country's different size and so on. But I think that the key could be finding the right problems where HPC is effective. And I think if there is a right challenge, scientific challenge in the problem, then then this effectiveness will be showing out if the results are in solving this problem. And for a country like Latvia, it's important really to join those consortia where bigger and international and large-scale global problems are solved, because HPC is a high-performance computing. It's for solving large, complex problems. So that would be my opinion.
Please, as a newcomer to the panel, please.
Thank you. So I think I'm very clearly coming from the other side. In my background for 20 years in the business education, and then also being on the commercial technology side, I think probably two things which I see around the world. Number one is how do we bring the HPC capabilities really in a very, very customer-oriented way down to the students, so that we increase the level of learning and recognition what HPC can do for the students at large. And I think there is, just listened into the National Science Foundation conference, and they just indicated, oh yeah, our first priority now is to bring a microchip design in high schools. And so that, I think, is a problem. We have to see how do we bring HPC to the high schools, that high school students, when they graduate, know that there is how to develop an artificial intelligence solutions. I think that's number one. Number two, again, a little bit on commercial side, how do we bridge the gap? And I think in Europe, that's a big issue. How do we bridge the interconnection between the commercial undertakings by the big commercial providers and the academic HPCs, taking into account what you mentioned, the European independence and drive for independence, but at the same time using their global capabilities so that we can really in Europe develop a global products. And I think that bridge needs to be linked in a very strategic and also a practical way. Thank you.
Thank you. Would you like to comment?
Yeah, maybe on those global companies. So at some local level, I think what the global companies really have, everybody knows them. If you take example Google Cloud Services or Amazon Cloud, so they are not cheap actually. They are about 5 times more expensive than we can provide with Lumi or our own. And actually, they don't come with scientific support usually. So you get your cloud and you are free to misuse it in any way you can. So actually, we need more and more tutoring and dissemination so that we can offer the same product or better product.
Thank you. Yeah, please.
But we have to keep in mind that it's, when we talk about HPC infrastructure, it's not about going from the Windows to the HPC and running the programs there. We should have ensure the transfer, how to scientific problem can be launched at the HPC infrastructure. So these competences are very important to have for example, students study programs that are capable of using HPC infrastructure.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's look to the audience. Is there any question somebody would like to ask? Now it's really time and opportunity. I don't see at the moment. Okay. There is. Yeah, please.
Hi, Ilya from University of Tartu. I have a question from the government perspective. Do you see what do you see if the current collaboration across the Baltic states and the Nordic states is good enough? Or do you see that something needs to be done on a sort of up-to-bottom approach? Do you see anything that can be improved from there, or it's all good as it is?
Thank you. Please, who would like to answer? Yeah, Malin, please.
I definitely think there can never be too much collaboration, really. So I definitely think it can be improved, and I think we have much to learn from each other, especially in things like getting new users into HPC and broadening HPC use in the community and so on.
Thank you. Please.
Yes, and definitely we would agree that the cooperation could always be more, and especially Baltic Nordic area. Let's say, as for Latvia, we also are considering to joining the NAIC, the E-Infrastructure Consortium, where we are not present but have been represented by some universities, but not officially as a country. So, of course, such projects, like more countries joining, like all Nordic Baltic countries joining into those regional initiatives, let's say improves cooperation. That it's possible, yeah, to get better results.
Thank you. I can add only that to get a vibrant innovation ecosystem, it's very important to create twofold, direct and back knowledge flows. It means networking, co-innovation on transnational basis. Yeah, that's very important. And here we have still some room for next steps and growth. So maybe some next question. Is there somebody? No. No, at the moment. I would like to ask, you have some comment here, please.
I think to add, so there's no silence. I think I think we have to recognize that we are moving economically and also technologically in the area, what I think Ivar described very well, that whenever you spend $1 million on hardware, even software, there needs to be spent at least $1 million or even more on human capacity. And I think if we think about cooperation, really the way global research works, it's very narrowly sliced and diced. And really and again, from a business side, business usually wants broad solutions. So in order to serve the business with the results of HPC calculations, you need these pretty broad solutions where a lot of different expertise needs to come in to produce a solution. So I think for policymakers, my suggestion is, and again, knowing Europe's politics, it's very, very hard. Europe doesn't operate that way, is that we have to combine the hardware with the soft skills and, as you mentioned, the programming. So it's a full stack approach to the issues, then it will start to work.
You would like to comment, please?
I think that in a quickly moving field like HPC, it's especially important to be able to collaborate widely across different borders and silos, because you can never learn enough to know everything. And if you can collaborate with somebody who knows something, your access to the wider knowledge is so much easier.
Thank you indeed. In the same time, I would like to maybe touch one important issue. Being a member of large research centers, large HPC centers, CERN and so, can it lead to some brain drain, or how to get win-win situation, the brain gain? Yeah, that's what I think you have had in mind as well. Yeah, maybe Ivar, you could comment.
Okay, speaking strictly from infra perspective, so I don't see much risk. So it has never happened during our cooperations with Lumi or Nike or whatever. So it actually turns out that if you give a lot of freedom to your employees and say normal salary, so sometimes when the grass is greener somewhere, then It usually means that there is also more fertilizer used or something. So I mean taxes and and stuff and okay, and yeah, so I'm firm believer in cooperation. So one practical question to Latvia and Lithuania. Yeah, so Lumi countries are already thinking about the next Lumi. So what about Latvia and Lithuania? Any plans?
Yeah, from Latvia perspective, as I've mentioned, we are now planning of like a major new project for all academic network upgrade, including HPC, and also considering of joining international consortia, and potentially it's like in the Nordic region, the Lumi could be one of those.
Thank you. No, to Lithuania.
So from the point of academia, yes, we are in a row to collaborate. And if we talk about at the ministry level, I cannot answer this question. Yeah. So, but from the point of academia, yes.
Okay, thank you. Question, please.
Thank you very much. My name is Solja Sulkunen. I represent the Finnish AI region EDI from Finland. My question to you is, what is your opinion? What should be the state's role in enabling trialing HPC for SMEs? What might be hindering this, and what could be done to encourage states to invest more? Thank you.
Yeah, please. We can start maybe now from Janis.
Okay, so I think it's an interesting. I think as we kind of in a very big debate and really being in the industry, I think the big question is how do, I think philosophically, we split between what, when SMEs are provided with high performance computing, does it come out of the commercial market or does it come out of the academic HPC market, and how do we draw the border between research use and academic use? Again, being in the United States, if a university cannot demonstrate that its laboratory equipment is used for commercial use, thank you, no more federal funds. In Europe, de facto how it works a little bit different. You know, yeah, it's in words it is, but when we look at the practice, there is very little motivation to do the really engage in commercial area and really serve the small and medium enterprise, which needs a lot of these added services. So I think that's an issue which needs to be debated. And I think that if you look at even around the Baltic Sea, there's quite a lot of different models. And I think that's one of the areas, at least in the shared service center in Latvia, we are debating with our stakeholders, with the ministry, with universities, how do we put that balance between commercial provisions, HPC on the premises, our own owned, and so on and so forth. So definitely we are interested to hear the other experiences and get back, is there a good model, a good approach?
Yeah, please.
Actually, in a small country, getting those SMEs to engage in HPC is really hard work. So as a Talis is quite reliant on getting commercial revenue also, and both Europe and government need more SME engagement. So we are offering trial everywhere, whoever wants, and of course it has to be R&D. So we are not hosting e-commerce sites or something, but if you claim you have some model to develop, then yeah, please come and try.
Is there any clustering or service customers in Kenya?
So the same as was talking here. So it's quite hard to get SMEs to the HPC for small countries. It's First of all, we have to compete like Google Colab and so on services. Of course, when you go there, you put the data on the table, and then Google uses it wherever it wants. So at the HPC part in Lithuania, it's not that issue. But of course, as I said, we run HPC from the university. So we can, for us, it's very, very hard to offer the full infrastructure as a stack, as a service stack support. So we never reached that level as has Google Colab that was working, I don't know, 20 years or more with a big command programming, those interfaces that can ease the access to the computational resources. So we have to offer something new. And as a university, we offer scientific approach, scientific problem, and diverse community for the problem solving. However, it does not guarantee the success of the problem, because it's a scientific problem and you never know what can be found or achieved.
Yeah. Okay, actually you can do something. So users want to use what's de facto in the industry. So you are not going to sell cycles, but when AI people want to use Hugging Face, so you can configure your infra to be a backend for Hugging Face, and they can use the familiar tool with your infra, and also you can give some your own specialist support.
As a basic research funder, we are not allowed to have anything that directly supports SMEs. What we can do is support the ecosystem for SMEs to work with, like make it as easy as possible to collaborate with the researchers, because that's how we can support SMEs. And also, I think going forward, dual use of HPC resources, they're shared between academia and industry, are probably is going to be the way forward, because making HPC sustainable is hard, it's very costly, and I think sharing those costs could also be a way to collaborate.
Okay, you would like to very quick comment? Oh. Okay, no. I can just add from our experience, we try to split in 4 groups, all SMEs according to their needs. One is those who don't know that they don't know. The second group is the group which know only something. For them we provide some information, open week, HPC week, and so. Then there are some early stage or those who haven't tried or just have very, very beginner knowledge. And then those who are already using HPC or mature and so. So that's something like we adopted the World Bank methodology, and we try to work separately with these all 4 groups just to get, and some success we have. Of course, we need to work further on. Thank you. So maybe the last quick question. Yeah, you have, please. Really, and quick answer, and that's it. Yeah. Thank you.
So, hello, Ahmed Nasr, I'm from Baltic University. We talked about the youth program and how we can foster them. So, the state level and the EU level, it sounds like it takes so much time. So, what about the HPC centers? Is there any approach like reach out programs or something like that that they can actually go down to the level of high school students or even lower to introduce and give more exposure? Maybe instead of waiting for the state or the higher levels to do it, maybe in the lower level it can be done at least similar, small way. And thank you.
Thank you. Who would like? Yeah, please.
I think actually the first step would be to educate the teachers of the high school students, because if the teachers don't know HPC, I doubt that they will not realize the priority of teaching students HPC, and they would probably not be able to engage students in HPC in the same manner. So I think the first step is educating the teachers.
Okay. Some quick answer. Is there something here, please? And then we'll end.
Yeah, and I can add here that that's the reason we started massively investing into advanced skills for the to create the critical mass of specialists. And potentially out of those 2,000, there will be some teacher who will say, hey, this is the school, I wanna like introduce that skill. That's correct. Yeah, teachers are the key for the high school.
Okay, last comment. And then
Yes, so HPC access is in the Vilnius University study curricula. So.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. And I would like then to thank all panelists for their contribution, answers. And with this, we end this governmental panel. Yeah. Thank you. And I give the floor to Ivar.
Yes. Thank you, everyone. So while we are a few minutes away from the coffee break, there will be a short pitch presentations from CoEs. I think the first one will be Arnis Lektauers from CoE Raise. Could you please come closer to the stage? And David Padaletti, Pratibha, and Miguel Vasquez, please come closer to the stage as well, so we can go quicker with this pitch.
Thank you for the opportunity to shortly present the RAISE project. My name is Arnis Lektauers, and I'm working under Riga Technical University, and I'm presenting the CoE RAISE project. The RAISE project, in a full name, named as the Research on AI and Simulation-Based Engineering, was founded under the European Commission and Horizon 2020 program. The project started 3 and nearly half years ago. And we are working on different use cases and methods related to integration of AI and HPC technologies. And the goal of the project is to develop novel AI and HPC related methods and tools towards exascale computing along representative use cases in natural and in engineering sciences. In the project, there are involved a group of well-known HPC players, starting from leading partners such as Jülich Research Center, University of Aachen, University of Iceland, Barcelona Supercomputing Center, CERN, of course, Riga Technical University, and several commercial partners. And to achieve the mentioned goal, we are working on several use cases, and these use cases are representing quite different types of as I said, natural and engineering areas, but in the same time, all these use cases have one important common part, and that is that all these use cases are related to a very large amount of data and require very significant computing resources based on data-driven approach. And within the given project, we are developing also unique novel unified AI framework based on existing open source solutions well known in this area, as well as we have developed several own solutions, and everything is implemented as openly available open system. And for the given mentioned use cases, we are also basically working on hybrid surrogate modeling based on HPC approach. And the Riga Technical University is involved in 2 use cases. The first one is in collaboration with Barcelona Supercomputing Center, where we are working on wind turbine simulation using data-driven AI plus HPC approach, combining classical plus surrogate modeling. And the second example use cases where RTU is involved is together with CERN, where we are helping to improve and analyze the performance of the existing particle classification clustering algorithm developed at CERN. And additionally, within the project, RTU has developed also training platform allowing to gather information about the various training courses around the world, as well as training courses provided and developed by colleagues and partners involved in the given project. And now we are nearing the finish of the project at the end of June, and we are intensively working now on reports, deliverables, and scientific publications to provide the results of this interesting project to a wider audience. Thank you.
Thank you. Next we have David Padaletti, who will present two CoEs, Hidalgo and Accelerat.
Thank you very much. So, imagine supercomputers and big data working together. I'm not sure if I'm pitching on the right CoE. So, we are simulating high-fidelity simulation of complex systems requiring access to supercomputer and to simulation codes that run efficiently on them. Things that are not always available. In Accelerat, we have researchers and industrial partners that identified relevant challenges in the target industries and applied state-of-the-art CFD simulation codes to overcome them. Understanding these use cases will improve current industrial workflows. So we are preparing 8 flagship codes to run in the next generation of supercomputers to exascale level by improving their scalability. So basically, how much speed up you can get by using more processors. So in order to create a single entry point for all stakeholders of high-performance computing and engineering applications, an integral part of the project is also to develop an infrastructure for data transfer management, analytics, and visualization. So Accelerat, so the aim of Accelerat is to bring simulation-driven industrial design to the future. And if you want to step by, we have a small booth on at the beginning here of the floor. Thank you. So now the right flashcards. Okay, imagine supercomputers and big data working together to create a lightning-fast, ultra-accurate models that exactly what Hidalgo does. We identify crucial areas for improving air quality, making building more energy efficient, and maximize the use of renewable energy for a sustainable future. But Hidalgo goes even further. We harness the power of high-performance computing and artificial intelligence to predict wildfires, keeping communities safe. So we identify 5 use cases from the environmental area: the urban air pilots, providing computational tools that model air quality. Advanced building models offer simulation tools that can be used to predict energy consumption. Digital twin for renewable energy sources. And simulation of wildfire atmosphere interactions and smoke dispersion at several scales. And material transport in water for a better understanding of the complex process of pollution transport in rivers. So the consortium combines a powerful team of experts across Europe, 9 partners for 7 countries. The interdisciplinary group brings together mathematicians, physicists, and specialists in the natural phenomena modeling, as well as optimization, co-design, data analytics, and machine learning experts. Each member is a proven leader in their field with a wealth of experience through publication and participation in national and European projects. Hidalgo 2, HPC and big data technology for global challenges. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Our next presenter is Pratibha Raghupati Hedge from Plasma PEPS.
Hello everyone, I'm Pratibha from KTH Royal Institute of Technology, and I'm representing Plasma PEPC, which stands for Plasma Exascale Performance Simulations, CoE. Plasma physics is crucial across various fields of science, including energy production, medical applications, and space exploration. And many of the simulation problems in these fields require advanced computational resources, and exascale computing systems can provide unprecedented power and scaling and provide a very high accuracy in these simulations. Plasma PEPC mainly aims at tackling several grand challenges in plasma physics using exascale systems, including controlling plasma material interfaces, optimizing magnetically confined plasmas, designing next-generation plasma accelerators, and predicting space plasma dynamics in the Earth's magnetosphere. In this context, we have chosen 4 European flagship plasma codes, and we aim at and we are working towards making them exascale ready using optimization and co-design. The 4 plasma codes that we have chosen is Gene, Picon GPU, Bit, and Blasiator. And these codes have already shown scaling in petascale systems, and they have wide user base. In particular, we plan to make these codes exascale ready by developing algorithms and libraries and optimizing their performance for heterogeneous systems and extreme data analytics. Also, we are co-designing these codes with European EPI processor and accelerator and heterogeneous systems. The project is funded by EuroHPC JU, and we have partners from several institutions and universities across Europe, which includes the code owners and also the partners of EPI processor and accelerator. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And our last speaker is Miguel Vasquez from PERMED CoE.
Thank you. I don't have slides, actually. I took too hard the 2-minute time limit. So yeah, I'm here to talk about the PERMED CoE. It's about personalized medicine. You've all heard about personalized medicine for a long time. In this CoE, we've tried to see how we can tap HPC resources to help personalized medicine. So HPC for healthcare isn't nothing new. We know from our colleagues in BioXcel, their excellent work they do in molecular modeling with big, strong impacts in industry and academia. So if I can call upon your high school biology, these molecules are chiefly proteins. These are the stuff that life is made of. But if you move one step upwards in abstraction, you get to cells. And that's where we are interested in. This is where proteins take on roles. They transduce signals. They enact biological pathways. And we argue this is where a lot of the diseases are understood and where a lot of the personalized medicine opportunities lie at the level of cells. So our approach is to simulate cells. We simulate individual cells as circuits. The logic is based on our understanding of basic molecular biology. So it leveraged that a lot, and it's based on how on those advances. So that's simulating the individual cells. Then we simulate tumor populations, cell populations, for instance, tumors. And we simulate their interactions between the cells with the environment, how they compete for resources, how they uptake nutrients or they uptake drugs, etc. And there's an opportunity to personalize how the individual cells work based on the patient's genomics. But there's also an opportunity to personalize how the tissue works. These simulations of cell populations, we can try to faithfully reproduce the tissue architecture with, the blood cells, different cell types, immune system, etc. So our first iteration of the CoE, which just ended a little while back. We took some of the tools in the ecosystem to do these simulations, and we worked to bring them to exascale performance, which was no easy task. We organized the communities around these software tools, and we developed the mechanisms to enact these use cases in workflows that we can deploy across the HPC infrastructure. For our next iteration of the CoE, we have proposed to expand our reach, try to go from tissue to organ level simulations. There's also a lot of good work of simulating organ levels, and we've heard about, for instance, the ALIA code, which can simulate, for instance, hearts or other organs. So we're going to try to reach out to the organ. This is in the path to trying to build a human digital twin. So that's for our next iteration. Anyway, I have a poster over there. You can take a look at that, and you can talk to me. I'll be around. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So please go and meet CoEs at their booths while you are having coffee and some food. Yes, and see you all back at 5:30 something.